still got Curry, they still got Wiggins and whatnot, and Draymond to mentor them, but just having solid vets like D'Anthony Melton and Buddy Hield and Kyle Anderson to come in and talk to Trace Jackson Davis and tell them, hey, don't do that, do this, move like this, don't move like that. Kaminga, and Brandon, Brandon, like it really is just like I think they're building a good foundation to still stay relevant. I don't think this makes them not a play-in team. I still think they're at best a play-in team. However, I think when you have Curry and you have Draymond and now you have Buddy Hield, and honestly, you even saw when they won the championship, when you have Andrew Wiggins playing healthy at his best, they're gonna find a way to win. But then also to get rid of Chris Paul, who was not necessarily say he was bad, but he was just very injury prone and wasn't really adding to anything fully productively for the team. I really think the Warriors kind of went from losing Klay Thompson for absolutely nothing to getting a sign and trade out of him, and also, picking up some good pieces who will be able to contribute immediately.
Do you think they're done?
What do you mean? Do I think they can get another championship?
No, do you think they this will be the roster?
I think it's close to it. They can only do so much because of how their cap is. And most of these players, that's why they had to sign and trade Klay, is because of the way the money works. And you've seen that a lot this offseason. I feel like than other off seasons was a lot of sign and trades. Actually, that's why the Clippers have not formally announced any of their offseason signings so far, is because they're still waiting to trade Russell Westbrook allegedly to the Denver Nuggets, just so they can find the cap to actually fully sign everybody, because it's still there's still a lot in the works.
It's a lot of math.
Yeah, it's a lot of math and a lot of very small decimal number crunching. I think immediately the team that I say is the biggest loser out of all of this is the Bulls. I think it's hard to not look at this offseason and say that the Bulls are the losers. Even if you look at the Lakers and you only see them bring back Braun on 1+1 and Max Christie, and that's their only actual signing that are more re-signing. Yeah, I think even then it's okay, the Lakers, they still have tradable pieces. They still, they still have D'Lo. You still can get something from back from D'Lo if you really want to get rid of him to get something else. Austin Reeves. I think they have a few tradable first-round picks, so it's not horrible per se. But the Bulls, no, it really isn't as bad as people are making it out to be. The Bulls kind of just lost everything. There's not one single thing the Bulls did right this off season. I mean, also over the past, my fault. That's the one. You trade for Josh Giddey. Okay, that's your point guard of the future.
But you give up Caruso.
Yeah, you give up Caruso, and you don't get a first-round pick back for him. You get Chris Duarte, who's a decent, rotational NBA player, but he's not really moving the needle. And I don't think he's fully better than Dalen Terry or Ao. You get Jalen Smith, who is a legitimate stretch big, but you still have you signed Patrick Williams, who's been injury prone and hasn't really fully proven himself to a 5-year deal. I don't know. It's kind of all around. It's just front office malpractice. They lost so much to gain so little, and you have to be to really maximize anything in the NBA. You have to be very big on capitalizing when the time is right. I think even the Raptors of picking up Bruce Brown's option, you know, we were really hoping at the trade deadline we could have got a first round pick for Bruce Brown. At this point now, I don't even know if we'll, what we'll be able to get back for him. I definitely don't think we can get a
Chips.
first round. So it's like the Bulls. It's like I understand the direction now is more so going to be leaned towards tanking, but then you still have Vucevic on contract that I doubt anybody's going to want to take because what does Vucevic really do? He's horrible at defense and he's at offense. I'd say like is he one of the better offensive centers in the league? Yeah, but at the end of the day, how many teams are truly playing their offense through centers? You know what I mean? So I don't really think that's a piece that people are looking at. And then it's kind of just like you're tanking, but you didn't even like tank fully. Like you still have Zach LaVine, who you're not going to be able to get anything back from because he's injury prone and he's horrible at defense.
Well, they tried to trade him.
Well, they tried to trade him this offseason when his value was at like $2. When you could have got back literally a king's ransom a year and a half ago. You know what I mean? So it's they're trying to trade a lot of the players now after their value is at their bare minimum, and they're basically giving away everybody on discount. Even then, I think they're gonna waive Lonzo. And I think for their team, he doesn't. I think for their team, it doesn't really work. But I really just from the videos that Lonzo's been posting of his like recovery, it generally does look like he's like getting back in NBA shape. I'm like, yeah, I'm scared for the Bulls that they're gonna waive him and he's gonna sign with like a Lakers or some contending team, and he's immediately gonna make an impact, and you're gonna say you couldn't find some way to make this player work in your team. There was nothing you could do to, you know what I mean?
I think he needs to go play with Lil Bro in Charlotte.
Maybe. Yeah, I really think if he goes anywhere, Lonzo's one of those players that he plays defense and he shoots well. If he can still do that, like he's just gonna make
in Boston.
He's gonna make the Bulls look even. Make the Bulls look so stupid. So I think the losers of free agency immediately to me is the Bulls, and I don't really think there's too many teams that even come close to. Just because their situation is like this is a situation that's coming to an end that should have already been put to a stop about a year and a half ago, and that's really why. Where I think at least the Lakers, I'm like, there's moves that can be made. Where I'm like the Bulls, there's no one that you're really trading for on their roster, at least personally for me. So, I don't know. Maybe also the Nuggets. They got Darius Saric back, which I think is a really good pickup. But losing KCP, I think, is going to be a lot bigger of a hit than people probably like the average fan will assume. I don't know. A team that already
Jamal Murray a lot of money.
Yeah, a team that you could already see the signs of the roster not fully being there, losing one of your better glue pieces is not helping. And they lost Reggie Jackson, who, even though he didn't play a lot for them, he still could have been a contributor for a team that didn't have that much bench depth. So they're really going to have to lean into those young guys like Peyton Wilson and Christian Brown and, Strawer.
They signed some good rookies, though.
They did. But I mean,
they got
when
you're
when you're trying to contend for a title and not like contend like the Lakers where you're coming from the bottom, trying to go to the top. When you're trying to be a team that's at the top and stay at the top, you have to be good from top to bottom on your roster. And I would not say it's the case. I would say they're very top heavy. I think their starting lineup is still pretty good, but you get to their bench and it's getting pretty scary. I think if they can pull off this and get Russell Westbrook, that would be a good pickup for them because Russ has shown
Just
in
another
his
Reggie
year and a,
Jackson.
yeah, Russ has shown in his year and a half with the Clippers that he can be a productive player off the bench. And I think that would really inject a lot of energy into their team. But if you can't pull that off, they're going to kind of be stuck trying to find diamonds out of a lot of coal. So I don't know. I think they're also not in the same tier because the Bulls are my losers of losers, but they're a loser of free agency to me.
I don't hate it.
Um, is there any one signing that you're like this is going to change the game, like for the team, like it's going to take a team to a different level,
Hmm. I mean, I think in the sense that
or
the
moves, maybe even a trade?
I like the Paul George move if he can stay healthy. I mean, now you have a star that you can rely on. Sort of, I think they'll just be like the Clippers, though. I mean, it'll be if they can stay healthy. But I mean, they needed a wing that can defend Jaylen Brown and or Jason Tatum if they want to make it to the finals. So, I love the Sixers offseason in that standpoint. And then I mean, the Mavs also needed shooting, and they did that. So I mean, again, that's just harping on my two winners, but. I will say as well, maybe not a current move, but I mean the Spurs getting Chris Paul. I think we all saw what that did for the people in the Thunder. So I think there's no reason in my mind that it can't help develop people. And I mean, he might break the assist record with Wemby. So I mean, I'm here for that as well.
I hate that me and you think so alike. Like literally, after asking you that question, I had literally just wrote down Chris Paul on my paper. But yeah, I mean I fully agree. I think Chris Paul is one of those players that he's kind of like he's kind of like Jimmy Butler, where no matter even if he fully fits in your team, just because of the caliber of player and competitor that he is, he immediately makes your team better tenfold. Um, I think this immediate like I think healthy or not, his presence immediately puts um the Spurs in play-in contention, maybe even better. I think people are really sleeping on a roster. I don't think it's
Listen, I
I don't think
love
it's
it. It's just the West is just so tough. I mean, I don't know who you're kicking out. I mean, you're
no
talking about the
exactly.
teams that are on the borderline, like the Lakers or like the Warriors, or I mean, even the Suns, if you want to say they're a borderline, or the Pelicans. I don't know. Those are a lot of teams there that I mean have a lot of playoff experience, and I know they have Wemby. I know they have young guys, but it's gonna be a tall order. If they were in the East, they'd probably be a 6 seed.
That's fair. Um, yeah. I mean, I just think for a lot of these teams, it's more about experience of the opportunity. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I think the fact that Scotty Barnes is already like, even though I think we got swept or we lost in five, I can't fully remember when we played the Sixers. I think just the fact that he even got to play in the playoff series will help him later down the line. You know what I mean? Of and I understand like maybe experience. Obviously, OKC has shown that the argument of experiences might be a little bit overrated, but still matters. I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at the two teams who won or who like made it to the finals, both of them were very experienced teams. Maybe Luka never made it to the finals, but he had made it to the playoffs
the conference
almost every
finals.
single. Yeah, exactly. Almost every single year of his career. He had proven that he could be a big game performer on that stage. Kyrie, obviously, we know Kyrie's resume of, hitting that game seven dagger. Um, Boston, I mean, we don't really have to speak on it. They've been to the finals two times, been to the conference finals almost every other year. Um, like experience matters. Like so I think for the Spurs, if they can. And I really think trading for Harrison Barnes is